Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 8 books that are actually worth the hype. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. The first book that I'm going to talk about is obviously The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. If you watched my channel, you already know that I've spoken about this book a million times, but I'm not going to stop at all. I'm going to speak about it even more a million times. Okay, and this one was really good. The thing about this book is that it explains love and shows love in the crudest and most painful form. Okay, there are moments throughout this book that are so humorous and they are so relatable. While you have conversations with people, these are the things which actually people speak. Okay, especially nerds and introverts. Okay, and I'm sure that if you're a teenager, this is the best book for you. If you're looking out for something romantic to read, I'm sure that it is going to be painful. Okay, it will kill you from within, but you'll just love it killing you. And even if you've not heard about this book, I feel so bad about you, okay, because you're under the rock or something, because this is one of the best books out there. And if you've not read this, please go try this out, because it is one of the best works put out by any author in this planet, if you ask me. And I'm sure that you have to read this. Whether you like it or not, you sure will experience certain things that have been said in this book to the core. The next book that I'm talking about is Sita, Warrior of Mithila by Amish. Now this is one of the most famous Indian books out there, and I'm sure that it is every ounce worth the hype that it's getting, because I'm sure that this is one of the best books that I've ever read in these 2 to 3 years of my reading. And especially this is one of the best books that I've read this year. You know it already if you have been following me, and I also have a dedicated review for this one. You can check it out if you want to. I'll try to link it up in the card. And this book actually shows the backstory of Sita in the story of Ramayana. Okay, usually we get retellings of our epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, but we don't get it in such a way that we get it from each and every single character's perspective. And the aim of this series is especially that alone, showing the same story from different points of view. And I like the work done by Amish in this one rather than Ram and Raman. Okay, Ram is the first book, Raman is the third book, Sita is the second book, which is actually the middle book. I tend to like middle books more, I don't know why, but in this one I'm sure that I like the second book the most, the third book a bit less than the second book, and the first book even lesser, because it felt something different. It felt something that was represented in a proper way. The best thing about this book is that if I have to compare Sita, Warrior of Mithila to some movie, I can say that you can compare it with the latest Wonder Woman movie, which came in 2017. Okay, the story of Wonder Woman as well as the character, it's depicted as such in a proper beautiful way in the movie. Okay, it is the same in this one also. The story of Sita, how she is actually not just a princess or the wife of Ram, but she is Sita herself. She's the warrior of Mithila. That's what the title of the book is, and it justifies the title in the best way. If you have not read this, please go and try it out. You can read it as a standalone. You need not have read any other books, or you need not commit to reading any other books after reading this. I'm sure that you will like this a lot. The next book is A Court of Mist and Fury by J Maas. Now this is also a second book in the series. Okay, this is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Okay, actually the series is a romance set in a fantasy universe. It's predominantly a romance, there's nothing else. And the romantic relationship between the different characters, that's actually put into this fantasy universe. There is a lot of magic, there's a lot of politics, intrigue, everything, but the thing which is most important throughout the series is the romance between the main characters. And I'm sure that I've read only the first 2 books. Okay, I've read only A Court of Thorns and Roses and Court of Mist and Fury. I've read only these 2, but I'm sure that the second one is the best. Okay, it is marketed as young adult fantasy, but please believe me, it's not young adult. Okay, it is adult, because it has a lot of graphic and sexual content throughout, and I'm sure that it mustn't be marketed in the young adult category. If you ask me, it is totally adult, at least in India. Okay, according to the norms that we follow, to my mind, I think that A Court of Mist and Fury must be an adult book, and go into this not with a critical mind. Okay, you have to go in order to enjoy a romantic story that is told. There are like multiple versions of romance that have been experimented with in this book, but all of them have been done in a really good way. Okay, it just makes you feel happy while having finished this book. And I'm sure that you can read A Court of Thorns and Roses just in order to read this one, because only if you read that you'll be able to appreciate this more. It is not that great. Okay, A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's not that great, but A Court of Mist and Fury is very, very good. The next book that I'm recommending is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, now this is also one of the books which I read in the first 2 or 3 months of the year, and I'm sure that this is one of the unique books that I've read. Okay, it is an adult historical fiction. Historical fiction usually is written in a way that it's written the period of World War II, but this one is not written then. It is written while taking place from 1950 to the early 2000s in that sense. Okay, and this story is about this fictional heroine called Evelyn Hugo. She's she's mostly like a Marilyn Monroe kind of a figure. Okay, due to the fact that the book is about a movie star, the entire story is so glamorous. Okay, while reading the book, you'll feel like you're just watching a biopic of some movie, and it was really done good in that way. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, that's the selling point of this book, if you ask me. Though the title is Seven Husbands, the story is actually not about the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's actually about her oneself and her one single love. The other best thing, if you ask me, about this book is that the character of Evelyn Hugo, it's not a normal character. It's not a straight character. She is bisexual, and she says it as such at a particular scene in the book. Okay, and it just makes a lot of sense how as people, we all just by reading a certain paragraph or just seeing certain things happen in certain life, we just believe their orientation to be something else, and it actually is not so. I just loved that chunk of the story a lot. Okay, there is this character who narrates the story entirely to us, the story of Evelyn Hugo to us, and we just see the life of Evelyn Hugo through her eyes, and it was really beautiful. And though there are seven husbands, there's only one relationship that lasts towards the end, and when you reach that particular point of the book, I'm sure that you'll love it a lot. And while reading this, there are major scenes which made me feel like I want to cry. I had tears in my eyes, but I didn't cry them out. There are certain things, right? While certain things happen to some really layered characters, you will able to feel what they're going through, and this is such type of a book. I want to warn you that it also has a lot of sexual content, but it is not just put into the book to make it an adult book. Everything that's put into the book actually has relevance with the plot of the book, and I like that element of this book a lot. The next book in this list is another one which is very famous, and I'm speaking about The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. We recently had the prequel for the Hunger Games also released in March or May, I don't remember properly, I think it was May, and there have been a lot of mixed opinions of that book all over the internet, and this one I'm sure that it is a really good book, guys. It has stood the test of time for almost 10 years now, and I'm sure that if you read this even now, you'll be able to enjoy it a lot. It just shows how the world in which we live in can transform into a brutal world in the future, and I like that element of this book a lot. This book has a cast of characters. Okay, there are like 12 districts, and from each district a boy and a girl are selected every year in order to participate in this reality show called the Hunger Games. The rule of the Hunger Games is that by the end of the game, of the 24 participants who are in there will be only one alive at the end, and that person will become the winner of the Hunger Games. It is such a sick thing, okay, but she writes it in such a way that it is very enjoyable. You try to root for the characters, not just the main character alone, but for various different characters, and the twists in this one are just so awesome. The first one is good, very good. The second one is great. The third one, I didn't like it a lot. I don't want to repeat it again and again in my channel. Okay, the first two books are great. I'm sure that if you fall in love with the world a lot, you will like the third one also, but it was not a great ending if you ask me. I'm sure that this is very much worth the hype because it will make you want to read more books. Next book is one of the two non-fiction books that I've selected for this book, for this list, and the first one is Ikigai by Francesc Miralles and Hector Garcia, translated by Heather Cleary, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and this book, it actually shows how you can live a long as well as happy life based on certain techniques that are followed in a specific village in Japan. The special thing about this village is that the people with the longest lives in Earth have been found to be living in a large number in this village in Japan alone, and the authors, they have made an idea of studying the lives or how they live life in that village, and they have just concocted their habits and routines into this single book. I'm sure that if you read this, you'll be able to get a lot and inculcate into your part of life. It is also spiritual in some sense, but it does not involve a lot of it doesn't involve God, but it involves spirituality. I liked that aspect of the book because everyone will be able to like and read it then. And it is not even a big book, guys. Just see, it's really short. It's just because it's a hardcover, it might seem a bit huge, but I'm sure that if you start reading this, you'll be able to finish it within 2 or 3 hours. That's like an awesomely short time for such a great book, and you have to read this. Try getting the audiobook or something, but I'm sure that if you're going to read one book from all the 8 books that I'm recommending today, then you have to read this one because it is just epic. The next non-fiction book in this list is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. I just finished reading this book yesterday and I understood why this is that famous when it comes to reading self-help books on time management especially. Rather than time management, this book actually focuses on reducing and cutting off procrastination. The author begins out by saying that you cannot just pull away procrastination from your life forever because it's not going to happen. Don't fool yourself by saying that. You can just try to mitigate it and lessen it so that you can use the maximum part of the time that you have for things that actually matter and not for things that are very trivial in your life. The one thing that he says throughout the book is that you have to make a schedule, and the thing which you fear to do the most, that will be the thing which you're procrastinating the most. And I'm sure he also says that it will for sure be the thing which will make a great positive impact in your life. The thing that he says is that while you start your day, you have to try and finish the biggest frog. You have to try to finish off eating the biggest frog first. That is, you have to try to do that job which you will procrastinate the most because it is tough to do. While you do it first, everything else seems simpler to do. And he says that you'll be able to do a lot of things more and become more productive just by avoiding this procrastination and also doing the job which actually needs to be done in order to make your life better. That's actually a thing which makes a lot of sense if you ask me, and I'm very glad that I read this book. Also try this out because it is also not that long. It is actually shorter than Ikigai, and also it deals with procrastination and time management in the best way if you ask me. The last book that I'm recommending today is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now this is just a duology, so we have only 2 books in the series, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. This book or series or duology actually consists of 6 main characters who are totally misfits, and they are all frauds in some way or the other, and they all come together in order to pull out this incredible heist so that they can get a huge load of money at the end of the heist. It is a really good story, guys. I'm sure that it will be a page turner once you cross like 100 or 150 pages of the first book, because the first 100 to 150 pages is actually the setup. You actually are taken through to a tour to the whole world, and you're just put into this incredible universe so that you can feel yourself being in the presence of the characters while experiencing the story. While they are doing the heist, it actually feels like you are doing and you're being a part of it. The best thing about this is that we just don't get a single point of view. Sometimes a single point of view can just totally bore you out, but in this one we have 6 points of view. Believe me, writing 2 points of view itself is difficult, and making them sound different from one another, it is like a pain in the ass for any author. And in this one, Leigh does it in the best way. You can actually differentiate each and every character's voice very, very easily, and you'll be even if you don't get the chapter headings after the first time, you'll be able to figure out which character is actually giving this point of view of the story. It is just great in that sense, and I'm sure that for a young adult book, if this much attention is given to the character work as well as the plot together, it will be like, it is so succulent and so good, guys. You have to read this. Okay guys, so these are all the books that I actually think are very much worth the hype, and I am sure that you have to try these books at the nearest time in your life as possible. And if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.